Elena stood in the bridal suite, her hands shaking slightly as she tried to fix the last curl that had fallen loose from her hair. The room smelled of flowers and perfume, and everyone kept telling her she looked beautiful, but inside she felt a quiet storm. Her heart beat too fast, her palms were warm, and her thoughts were scattered. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, yet something inside her felt strangely fragile, like a glass about to crack. She took a slow breath, hoping it would calm her nerves. It didn't. The door opened softly, and Marissa stepped inside. Elena stiffened without even meaning to. Marissa, her cousin, her childhood shadow, her quiet tormentor, walked in with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She came close, too close, as if she wanted the room to disappear, and leave only the two of them standing face to face. Marissa leaned in, pretending to adjust Elena's veil. Her voice was a cold whisper against Elena's ear. "You don't deserve this wedding." For a moment, Elena forgot how to breathe. The words hit her harder than she expected. She blinked quickly, hoping she heard wrong, but the smirk on Marissa's face told her she hadn't. The room suddenly felt smaller, heavier. Why would she say that? Why now? Elena's throat tightened, but she kept still. She didn't want to give Marissa the satisfaction of seeing her break. Not today, not minutes before she walked down the aisle. But the whisper dug into her chest like a thorn, sharp and painful. Behind them, a soft cough sounded. Elena turned slightly and saw Liam standing at the doorway. He wasn't supposed to be there yet, and from the look on his face he had heard something. Maybe not every word, but enough. Liam's eyes narrowed for a second, then softened when they met Elena's. There was something in his gaze she couldn't read, something heavy and knowing, as if he understood more than he had ever told her. She straightened and stepped back, quickly pretending nothing happened. Elena could almost hear her fake sweetness drop back into place like a mask, but the moment was already broken. Liam stepped inside fully, his attention shifting between the two women. His jaw tightened just a little, but it was enough to show he wasn't fooled. Elena tried to smile, but her chest felt tight. That whisper, that one quiet sentence. It was small, but it felt like the beginning of something bigger. Something dark she couldn't yet see. And deep inside, she felt the first crack. Elena grew up in a world where she always felt smaller than everyone else, especially Marissa. Marissa was the cousin everyone praised. She had the nicest clothes, the newest things, the loudest confidence, and the kind of charm that made adults smile at her without question. Elena, on the other hand, always felt like she was standing in the corner of every room, trying hard just to be seen. Their family didn't hide the difference. Whenever Elena did something good, people said, "That's nice." But when Marissa did anything, even something simple, they acted like she had done something amazing. Elena learned early that she had to work twice as hard just to earn half the attention. It made her quiet, soft-spoken, and unsure of herself. She grew up believing love was something she had to earn, never something she simply deserved. Marissa knew the power she had. She liked being the favorite, the shining one, and she liked reminding Elena of it. If Elena got a new dress, Marissa somehow had a better one the next day. If Elena achieved something at school, Marissa would find a way to make it seem small. Elena's mother always told her to ignore it or be patient, because Marissa doesn't mean any harm. But Marissa did. Her small smiles, her little comments, her constant comparisons, they all had a purpose. She loved being above Elena, and she worked quietly to stay there. As they grew older, things did not change. Marissa became even more confident, even more admired, and Elena stayed in the background. But one thing happened that Marissa did not expect. Elena met Liam. It happened on a rainy afternoon when Elena slipped outside a cafe and nearly fell. Liam had been there, quick enough to catch her arm and help her up. He laughed gently, not in a mocking way, but in a warm, easy way that made her heart steady itself. They talked for a few minutes that day, and it felt simple, natural, and strangely safe. For the first time in a long time, Elena felt like someone actually saw her. Not the shadow of someone else, not the quiet girl fighting for space, but her. Their connection grew quietly. Liam wasn't flashy or loud. He was steady, patient, and honest. He listened when she spoke and noticed things others ignored, like how she twirled her fingers when she was nervous, or how her voice softened when she talked about her dreams. With him, she didn't feel small. She felt enough. And that was something Marissa couldn't stand. From the moment Marissa met Liam, Elena could feel the shift. Marissa gave her long stares, cold smiles, and little comments like, "You're lucky he likes shy girls," or "I don't know what someone like him sees in you." Elena tried to ignore it, but she saw the look in Marissa's eyes, the same look she always gave right before she tried to take something that wasn't hers. Liam's kindness seemed to bother Marissa the most. He treated Elena with a gentleness she had never received before, and Marissa didn't like not being the center of someone's attention. As the wedding day came closer, Elena held on to the hope that this marriage would finally free her from years of feeling second best. She imagined starting a new chapter where Marissa's shadow couldn't reach her. She imagined finally choosing happiness without worrying about Marissa's reactions. But deep down, she could feel something growing, Marissa's bitterness. The closer Elena came to something beautiful, the more Marissa seemed determined to ruin it. Elena felt it in the way Marissa watched her, in the silence before her comments, in the tight smiles she gave whenever Liam held Elena's hand. This wedding was supposed to be Elena's new beginning. But Marissa wasn't ready to let her have it. Minutes before the ceremony, when Elena was trying to steady her breathing and gather the courage to walk down the aisle, Liam gently took her hand and said, "Can I talk to you for a moment?" His voice was calm, but there was something tense in his eyes. It made Elena's heart drop. This wasn't the look of a groom about to start the happiest moment of his life. This was something else, something heavy. He led her to a quiet corner behind the hall, away from the guests and away from Marissa's sharp eyes. The music outside was soft, the wedding planner's voice floated around giving instructions, and Elena could hear the faint chatter of people waiting. But in that small corner, everything felt silent. "Liam, what's wrong?" she asked softly, her fingers shaking slightly in his. Liam took a deep breath, as if he had been holding this inside for too long. "There's something I've been meaning to tell you," he said. "I didn't want to say it before the wedding because I didn't want to stress you. But after what happened in the bridal suite, I can't keep quiet anymore." Elena felt her chest tighten. "What do you mean?" "It's about Marissa," he said, and even saying her name made his jaw clench. Elena froze. Of course it was about Marissa. Somehow it always was. Liam continued. "Weeks ago she came to see me. She told me things about you, things that were ugly and cruel." Elena felt the world sway for a moment. "What kind of things?" "That you weren't serious about our relationship," he said. "That you were only marrying me for security. She even said you were seeing someone else behind my back." Elena's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her body felt cold, like someone had poured ice water down her spine. Marissa had tried to destroy her wedding, weeks before it even began. Liam reached for her hands. "Elena, I didn't believe her. Not for 1 second. But I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to get hurt before the wedding. I knew she was jealous. I thought ignoring her would take her power away. But it hadn't." Marissa only grew bolder. Elena's lips trembled. Why would she do this? Why now? Liam hesitated. "There's something else," he said quietly. "Something that happened at the rehearsal dinner. I wasn't ready to tell you. But after hearing her talk to you today, I think you deserve to know everything." Elena felt her stomach twist. "What happened?" Liam looked away for a moment, as if trying to choose the right words. "Marissa didn't just talk to me. She tried to get close to me." His voice lowered, ashamed. "She cornered me when you stepped outside. She told me she cared about me more than you ever could. She said we could run away together if I ever had doubts. She even touched my arm and said she would make a better bride." Elena felt her breath catch. She had expected something bad, but not this. Not Marissa trying to replace her. Not Marissa trying to take Liam too. "Why didn't you tell me?" Elena whispered. Her voice cracked on the last word. "Because I didn't want you to feel like you were fighting your family on your wedding day," Liam said softly. "I thought I could handle it. I thought she would give up. But today she didn't. She walked into that room and tried to break you minutes before we walked down the aisle. I can't stay silent anymore." Tears filled Elena's eyes, not because of Liam, but because of the truth she finally had to face. Marissa wasn't just jealous. She wasn't just petty. She wanted to destroy her. She wanted her place. She wanted her happiness, her peace, her future. "Why?" Elena whispered, shaking. "Why is she doing this now?" On the most important day of my life. Liam squeezed her hands. Because you finally have something she can't take easily. Because you're happy. And she doesn't know how to live with that. Elena closed her eyes, feeling everything inside her tremble. The wedding bells were supposed to ring soon. Guests were waiting. But in that quiet corner, her world had shifted. Marissa wasn't done. And this was only the beginning. Elena found Marissa standing near the back hallway, pretending to check her phone. Her posture was calm, but her eyes lifted the moment she saw Elena walking toward her. There was no surprise on Marissa's face. It was almost as if she had been waiting for this moment. Elena stopped in front of her, her voice shaking but firm. Why did you talk to Liam? Why did you lie to him about me? Marissa smiled slowly. A cold smile that held no warmth. Oh, that, she said. I was only telling him the truth. He deserved to know what kind of person he's marrying. That's not the truth, Elena whispered, hurt filling her chest. Why are you doing this? Marissa's eyes flashed with something dark. Because I should be the one he's marrying. Elena's heart felt like it skipped a beat. What? Marissa stepped closer, her tone sharp. Do you think I didn't notice how kind he was? How gentle he was? Men like Liam don't come around often. And certainly not for girls like you, Elena. Memories rushed into Elena's mind, moments she had tried to ignore. Marissa laughing too loudly at Liam's jokes. Marissa touching his arm during family gatherings. Marissa showing up at places where she knew Liam would be. Marissa comparing herself to Elena, hinting she would be a better match. At first, Elena thought she was imagining it, but now she knew she hadn't been wrong. Marissa had been trying to take Liam from her from the beginning. You can't have him, Elena said softly. He doesn't want you. Marissa's face twisted. Only because you got to him first. You've always had things you never deserved. Even as a child, you took the attention I should have had. Elena stared at her. You were the one everyone loved. You were the one they praised. Not him, Marissa snapped. Liam saw you. He chose you. That's what I couldn't stand. The truth stung like a slap. Marissa wasn't just jealous. She was obsessed with being better than Elena. And Liam choosing Elena shattered her pride. Then Marissa dropped another blow. I told Aunt Rosa and Uncle James that you weren't ready for marriage. I told them you were having doubts. And I might have mentioned to a few relatives that you cried last week because you wanted to call off the wedding. Elena felt her stomach twist. You lied about me to our whole family? Marissa shrugged. People believe what they want to believe. As if on cue, Elena heard hushed voices from nearby. A few aunts and cousins were whispering, looking in her direction with pity in their eyes. Others looked annoyed, as if she was ruining the day on purpose. The whispers spread like wildfire. What is happening? Why is the wedding delayed? Did Elena get cold feet? I heard she and Liam fought. Elena felt her chest tighten with humiliation. This was her wedding day. She had dreamed of walking down the aisle with confidence and joy. Now she felt like everyone was judging her, questioning her, doubting her. Marissa watched her crumble with satisfaction. Elena stepped back, tears burning her eyes. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. She didn't want to face the guests. She didn't even know if she could stand in front of them after this. She walked away quickly, unable to stay any longer. She found an empty dressing room, closed the door, and finally let the tears fall. Her makeup smudged. Her hands shook. Her heart felt heavy, bruised, and tired. Why is this happening? She whispered to herself. Why am I never enough? She sank to the floor, her dress pooling around her like a broken cloud. Outside, she could hear noises. The wedding planner trying to manage the delay, relatives murmuring, Marissa pretending to be innocent. Elena buried her face in her hands. This was supposed to be her moment. But once again, Marissa had taken the light away. And for the first time, Elena wondered if she was strong enough to walk down that aisle at all. Liam didn't waste another minute. As soon as he saw Elena break down, he knew something had to be done. He called the immediate family backstage, asking them to gather in a small private room behind the hall. His voice was steady, but his eyes were firm. This was no longer a moment for politeness or pretending. Elena walked in slowly, her cheeks still wet from crying. She stood near the wall, trying to remain calm even though her heart was hurting. Marissa stood opposite her, arms crossed, acting innocent as if she had done nothing wrong. Elena's mother and a few close relatives stood between them, confused but worried. Liam took a deep breath. I called everyone here because there are things that need to be said before this wedding can continue. Marissa blinked innocently. Liam, is this really necessary? You're only stressing Elena more. Liam ignored her. He reached into his jacket and took out his phone. For months, he said, Marissa has been sending me messages. Messages that were not friendly or respectful. Marissa's eyes widened. Liam. He raised his hand, stopping her. She sent me romantic messages. She told me I deserved someone better. She said she could replace Elena if I ever had doubts. Gasps filled the room. Elena felt her knees weaken. She had suspected things, but hearing it out loud cut deep. Marissa tried to laugh it off. You're twisting things. I was joking. You weren't, Liam said sharply. You also told me Elena was cheating on me. You tried to make me think she wasn't loyal. He looked around the room, meeting every pair of eyes. She wanted to break us apart. The room fell silent. Elena watched her cousin's face turn stiff. Marissa's mouth opened, then closed again. She had no excuse left. But then Liam said something that made Elena freeze completely. And I didn't tell Elena earlier because, his voice softened with disappointment, because your mother asked me not to. Elena felt her breath catch. My mother. Her mother looked down, unable to meet her eyes. Liam continued. She told me to ignore Marissa's behavior. She said it was better to keep the peace. She didn't want family drama ruining relationships. Elena's heart cracked. She stared at her mother, her voice barely a whisper. You knew? You knew she was trying to take Liam away? And you did nothing. Her mother spoke quietly. Elena, I just wanted everyone to get along. Marissa is family. I didn't want to fight. So you sacrificed me? Elena said, her voice trembling. Like always, years of memories flooded her mind. Every moment she had been told to stay quiet, to forgive, to be patient, to understand Marissa. Every time her feelings had been pushed aside for the sake of family harmony. This moment wasn't new. It was simply the first time Elena finally saw the full truth. She stepped back from the group, her chest heavy but her mind suddenly clear. All my life, she said softly, I've been asked to carry the pain so everyone else can stay comfortable. I've been told to accept whatever Marissa does. I've been told my feelings don't matter. She looked directly at Marissa, then at her mother. But not anymore. The room was silent. Elena took a deep, steady breath. I'm done being the girl who stays quiet. I'm done being the girl who lets others walk over her. Today is my wedding day. My life. My choice. Her voice grew stronger. And I'm choosing myself. For the first time, Marissa looked nervous. Elena's mother looked shocked. Liam, however, looked proud. Proud that Elena finally stood up for herself. This was the moment everything changed. The moment Elena broke the pattern that had hurt her for years. The moment she finally became her own protector. Elena took a long breath, wiping the last tear from her cheek. She looked around the room at the people who claimed to love her, yet had allowed Marissa's behavior to grow for years. Something inside her finally shifted. She felt calm, not weak, not scared, but clear and strong. I will still marry Liam, she said softly, but her voice carried through the whole room. But not like this. And not with people who hurt me. Everyone went silent. Even Marissa stopped pretending to be innocent. Elena continued. If you supported the lies, if you stayed quiet while Marissa tried to destroy my life, I don't want you at my wedding. Her words were simple, but they shook the room. Her mother stepped forward, eyes wide. Elena, you don't mean that. They're family. Elena looked at her with calm eyes. Family doesn't break you and expect you to smile. One by one, the truth settled on everyone's face. Some relatives looked ashamed, others nervous, and a few slipped out quietly, unable to meet Elena's eyes. Those who had whispered about her earlier now walked toward the exit, guilt heavy on their shoulders. Marissa stood frozen. She opened her mouth to defend herself, but Elena raised her hand. No more. You've said enough today, Elena told her. You're not welcome at my ceremony. Marissa's face turned pale. This time she had no power to hurt Elena. She turned away and walked out, her heels clicking sharply on the floor, each step louder than the last. Slowly, the room emptied until only a small group remained. People who truly loved Elena, people who had never doubted her heart. Liam moved beside her and held her hands gently, his voice warm and steady. I'm proud of you, he whispered. You deserve a peaceful beginning. You deserve respect. Elena looked at him, her heart softening. I just don't want to live my life feeling small anymore. You won't, Liam said. Not with me. I'm here for you. Always. The wedding planner, who had quietly watched everything, stepped forward with a kind smile. We can arrange a smaller ceremony in the garden. Only the people you choose. Elena nodded. Yes. That's what I want. Within minutes, the large hall, once full of gossip and tension, was replaced with a small, warm space outside. Flowers swayed gently in the breeze. A few chairs were placed under a soft arch of roses. It felt simple, peaceful, and honest, exactly what Elena needed. Her true supporters stood around her with warm eyes, no judgment, no whispers, just love. As she walked toward Liam, her dress brushing softly against the grass, she felt something she hadn't felt in years, freedom. The ceremony was short but filled with emotion. When Liam held her hands and repeated his vows, Elena felt every word like a promise wrapped around her heart. I choose you, he said. Not your family, not their noise, just you. Tears filled Elena's eyes, but not from sadness. This time, they came from relief. When it was her turn, she spoke clearly, without fear. I will never shrink myself again. I will never let anyone make me feel less. Not today, not ever. Liam smiled, holding her hands tighter. And I will always stand with you. They exchanged rings, sealing their new beginning. One built on truth, strength, and loved as they kissed. Elena felt the weight of years fall off her shoulders. She had chosen herself. She had chosen peace. She had chosen a life where she finally mattered. One day someone will choose you. Don't forget to choose yourself too. Elena held the small note tightly in her hand. She had written those words years ago, when she felt lost and alone, hoping for a future where she would matter. Now, standing beside Liam, she realized something powerful. Today, she had finally chosen herself. The past months, the pain, the lies, it all felt distant now, like a shadow fading behind her. She didn't need to carry that weight anymore. She had found her voice. She had found her strength. Elena smiled softly and folded the note carefully. She slipped it into her purse, a quiet reminder to never forget who she was, and who she deserved to be. Hand in hand, Elena and Liam stepped out of the small garden where they had said their vows. The sun was warm on their faces, and the gentle breeze seemed to whisper promises of new beginnings. She didn't look back at the people who had tried to hurt her, who had tried to dim her light. They were part of a past she was ready to leave behind. Peace, Elena knew, was not something that simply happened. It was a choice, a brave choice she had made today. Courage was the price she paid, but it was worth every moment that as they walked away from the venue. Together, Elena felt hope stirring in her heart, a soft, steady hope that no matter what came next, she would never let anyone take her peace again. This was her story now, a story of pain, yes, but also of healing, strength, and quiet triumph. And for the first time in a long time, Elena felt free. Hey besties, thanks a ton for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories. See you soon.